everyone, I'm Tara. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about how to live more slowly. So lately I've been feeling like I haven't been as good at slow living as I've been in the past. So I've been struggling with this for the past month and feeling like I feel really rushed to get things done. I feel like I'm just like running around like crazy, really for no reason at all. So I've been trying to give myself that reminder to slow back down. So I figured I'd come on here and make a video about it because I'm sure some of you feel the same way. I feel like slowing down seems literally impossible sometimes in this fast-paced world that we live in, but this is the exact reason why we need to slow down more than ever before. Something I ask myself often, which will remind me to slow down, is just simply asking myself why everything is so rushed. Like, why do I feel this need to speed through this? Or why do I feel like I need to get everything done in one day? What's really the reason behind that? You don't see plants rushing off to flower. Why, as humans, have we adapted this state of needing to constantly be moving and constantly be doing? Just some points to think about. So I'm going to share some tips toward the end of this video on how you can start living more slowly, but I want you to remember that the first step of slow living is simply recognizing that you need to slow down. That's the first step, and it's a powerful one. Just noticing that you've been in that state of rushing around, speeding through things, maybe not being present, is really that first step in getting you into slow living. The topic of slowing down has really been on my mind lately because over this past month, I've really been feeling that pull to move faster, that pull to keep getting things done. And I'm gonna share with you my experience and my insights in case anyone feels similar and wants to come back to a slower pace of living. So this video is one, a reminder for me, but two, hopefully some inspiration for you. The thing is, in my life, I really do feel like I have no reason to feel this way, to feel rushed, right? That feeling of needing to get one thing done, to move on to the next thing. Why am I feeling like this? I have the luxury of being able to schedule my own day. I run my own clock. I don't have kids, and yet I still feel rushed throughout most of the day. And I don't think I'm alone in this feeling. Conversations with friends and family all point toward the fact that so many people feel like this. And this has made me realize that this topic is more important than ever before because this has become our society's norm. I felt rushed when I worked a 9 to 5, and I still feel rushed now, or I'll fall back into that state. I feel like I've been getting better at slow living and practicing it, but I will still fall back into the society's norm of feeling like I need to keep getting things done. And this makes me think that the problem is our perception of time and what we think that we need to do with it. Like, I could be totally done with work for the day. My house is relatively in order, so I have nothing pressing that I need to take care of, yet I'll still feel that urge of, okay, let me get this done so I can move on to the next thing. And I've been extra aware of this lately because I've been noticing this feeling even like before and after I meditate. So when that was happening, I was like, okay, this is becoming a problem and I need to reevaluate. If I'm feeling rushed during an activity that should be a calming one, when I have nothing that I really have to do after, that's something to definitely pay attention to. So I'll literally just ask myself, I'm like, what the hell are you rushing off to do, woman? Slow down, enjoy, be in the present moment. Sometimes just a simple reminder could be really powerful. And the point here with this story is to highlight that if you are having difficulty slowing down, just know you're not alone. I'm a super spiritual yogi kind of person, and I still struggle with this from time to time. But just because it's challenging to start to slow down and that rushing around and getting things done has become a norm for our society doesn't mean that we can't make that change. Let's talk a little bit about the perception of time. So you know how everyone says, time moves so fast? Well, I think that time feels fast because of our mindset. Time doesn't move faster as you get older, but your attitude towards time probably does change. Time's still moving at the same pace as it always has. I personally don't really like the saying like time moves fast, so enjoy it, because I feel like that brings you further into that feeling of that sense of urgency. We should enjoy time because it's a gift to experience it in this human form, but I don't think we should enjoy it because it moves fast, right? We should just enjoy it because it's a gift we're given. When you do learn to slow down, life does become more filled with joy because you are then living in the present moment. You're not living in what you need to get done in the future. And if you read into the science behind time, you'll learn that time may be a little different than how we perceive it. And I'm just gonna leave it at that for this video, but it's pretty interesting to read about. So if you're interested in that, maybe do some of your own research. Okay, so I'm making this video because I feel like I needed this reminder, and sometimes I feel like when I'm feeling like that, I know other people are, so let me put some content out there on it. But I did feel like this before, and I wrote a whole blog post on slow living. So that was back in August of 2023. And in that post, I wrote a real life example of the difference between time when we're feeling rushed and time when we learn how to slow down. So this kind of relates to the theory I was just talking about of how time feels like it moves fast when we're rushed. And I thought it was a pretty good example, so I'm gonna read it to you here. So for some context, I was talking about how I had been practicing Reiki on myself lately. And after recognizing that I needed to slow down, I reminded myself of this before my Reiki session, and I did some of the techniques for slowing down, which I'm going to share at the end of this video. After this particular Reiki session, I finished the session feeling like the session had lasted for about a half an hour. I then looked at the clock only to realize that it had only been 10 minutes. And it wasn't one of those times where it felt like a half hour because you were so bored. Not at all. I just truly felt like it had been longer, but in all the best ways. Oh, how your perception of time can change when you just slow down a little bit. So I hope that example kind of just helps highlight of how our mindset really impacts our perception of time. Let's talk a little bit about the guilt of not doing. The societal pressure to feel guilty when we aren't doing something. What the fuck? We can't slow down because we feel this guilt for not doing anything. It's so crazy. Yes, it's great to be productive and to get things done, but at what cost, right? We can't always be on the go. If we are, we're going to be missing the small, beautiful moments in life. We're not going to be able to enjoy moments of rest because we're going to be feeling guilty because of what the societal norm that tells us we always need to be doing, right? That's crazy. We need the moments of rest. We need to live more slowly. It's just as important to take moments of rest as it is to have moments of productivity. The thing is, when you offer yourself time to not do or to just slow down without strings attached, you'll probably be more productive in your doing time. The mind needs rest just as the body needs rest. There's no need for guilt in taking a quiet moment when you need. A great example of this is if you look at female anatomy, right? Our bodies cycle in a way that literally tells us to rest, right? Males, just because you don't have a monthly reminder doesn't mean that you don't need rest too. So remember, there's no rush and there's nothing wrong with taking moments of rest. Lastly, before the list on how you can start to slow down, the tips that I have for you, I just want you to remember that this feeling of needing to rush, remember, it's largely societal. Most things that we think need to be rushed don't, right? Your dog ate something that might be poisonous and you need to go to the vet. Yeah, okay, there's a time that it makes sense to feel rushed. You just got home from work and you need to cook dinner. I bet dinner will get cooked in a similar amount of time, whether you choose to rush through it or whether you choose to slow down a little bit, right? And I know when it comes to trying to complete certain goals or to achieve certain outcomes, we often feel rushed. But please remember that this is largely societal. There really should be no rush. Things will unfold as they're meant to be. Do what feels right for you, not what society tells you that you need to do. This mindset shift can help you begin to slow back down to your natural pace, and you'll just feel better overall, I'm telling you. Okay, time for the tips. So I have 5 tips for you to help you to slow back down. Tip number 1 is simple. It's to just reconnect with your breath. Even though this is a simple technique, it's a very effective way to slow yourself down. And it's a technique that I do love to use. Whenever I catch myself feeling rushed, unnecessarily, I'll just take a few slow, intentional breaths. This can really quickly change your state of mind. And you can continue to do whatever task you were doing after the breaths, but hopefully now you'll realize that you could do this in a slower pace. The second tip is simply to remind yourself that there's no rush. This is another technique that I use to help myself come back to a slower pace of living. Oftentimes, you don't need to do anything extravagant, so here, a simple reminder may be all that you need. When you catch yourself falling back into old patterns, like I have lately, just simply remind yourself to take a moment, slow it down. Hopefully I'm portraying slowing it down good, because I know I talk fast. I just have my whole life. I'm trying to intentionally talk slower. So yeah, hopefully I am still radiating out slow living to you. Tip number 3 is to take moments throughout your day to be present without doing. So often our days are filled with being on the go, so taking some small moments to consciously slow down can be really impactful. Even if it's just 1 minute, that's fine. That will still help you to start to slow down. So remember, take moments for pause throughout your day so that you could be really present with your entire being, mind, body, and soul. Tip number 4 is to watch nature as a reminder of our natural pace. We are part of nature, so why is it that we are the only ones that feel this pull to constantly be doing? Nature moves at its own pace without apology, so observing nature can help you to remind yourself to do the same. Tip number 5 is to remember that time is time, embrace it without fear. I think that many of us innately have this fear of time, which makes it hard to slow down. You would think it would be the opposite, but I think with our current societal standards, we're led to believe that we need to constantly be achieving more or doing things by a certain age. I don't know who came up with these ideas, but do you want to subscribe to them or do you want to live at your own pace? I think that living at your own pace sounds a lot more peaceful. And this isn't me saying you shouldn't work hard or you shouldn't have goals, not at all. It's just me saying that time is time and not to worry about it so much. Everything will unfold how it's meant to, whether you rush or not. So I hope those tips are helpful. And I know it's not as easy as it sounds, but that's okay. It takes time and practice to live this way. I know that, right? I felt like I was doing good. I feel like I slipped back a little bit. So I need to maybe put some of these things back in place. It's okay. We're not perfect. Just remember to give yourself the time and grace as you are trying to make these changes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I do have a Patreon. If you'd like to support me further, I'll put a link to that in the description down below. But otherwise, I'm just so thankful for all of you being here. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps me as well. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, please hit that subscribe button right below me. And just remember, life is a little extra beautiful when you simply just slow down. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.